So why is it so hard to upload and publish a video to YouTube? Specifically, title and thumbnail. Well, I'd like to compare it to dating and work. So, let's just say you are looking to find a person to date, or you're looking to get a job. And in essence, you know that you are a good person, a great catch. You know that you are an amazing employee and hard worker. But the person you're trying to court, or the job you're trying to apply for, the interview you're trying to, or interviewer you're trying to impress, well, they're looking at you like a YouTube video. And they're going to base whether or not they're going to select you and choose you off of a title and a thumbnail. Now, in dating, this could be your appearance, and also the icebreaker. I don't know why my phone does that. It just shuts off from time to time. The icebreaker, the pickup line. If you ever watch Hitch, the movie Hitch, then you kind of know. And if it's a job, then, we're talking about a resume, a cover page. And unfortunately, well, maybe with YouTube, you can kind of get away with the pass of a recommendation from somebody else who's already working there. But for the most part, you are relying on the first initial impression that you only get to make one of. Well, technically, because YouTube is going to be rolling out their test and compare, where you can test out different thumbnails and see which one's going to be most effective and ultimately most successful, most satisfying, which I don't know how they're gauging this metric. But if you want to know more about the YouTube A, B, and C thumbnail testing and test and compare, then I'll put a link up here so you guys can check it out. I'll put it as an end card too. I'll probably put it in the description as well. So you got 3 different places you can find this video. My thoughts and opinions on it, and if I would use it or not, and or how would I use it. But we don't have any problem, I don't think, for the most part, creating content, especially as a creative. Now, if you create content where you're kind of just showing people what they couldn't see or have missed, or coverage, for instance, the Super Bowl, which obviously you would have copyrights on that, a cruise ship, or any event. And it's like, literally, you can just title it what it was or what the experience was, and theoretically people will want to watch it because they're interested in it and they're searching for it. Now, search is still viable. Search is still strong. Search is still good. Quite possibly better on Google than on YouTube. I think more people search Google and end up watching YouTube videos than people go on YouTube and search for videos. Just my thought, my opinion. But as a creative, the idea, the topic, the setting, the camera, the cinematography, the B-roll, the everything that makes your video is, I'll say, easy in comparison to, okay, my video's great. I know it's great, but I got to make sure the world knows it's great before they watch it. I got to make sure that YouTube, the algorithm, knows it's great in a split second in comparison to others around me that are designed to make sure everybody else knows that theirs is great too. So this creates quite the conundrum of the worst part, possibly, or the hardest part of being a YouTuber and content creator, and that is titles and thumbnails. Because even titles and thumbnails, as we talk about them and discuss them today, are different than they were yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and in the future as well. Everybody is seeing, I believe, the shift and the change in YouTube and their algorithm and audience's interest, and a lot of conversation and talk behind the low production, organic, natural conversation and discussion with simplistic titles and thumbnails that connect to the viewer. The editing styles are changing, where you don't need to Mr. Beastification your video and edit every third of a second and blow the mind of anybody who dares click on watching that video to just be overstimulated. I don't even want to know what it takes to edit a video like that. It's exhausting just thinking about it, and more so watching it. Therefore, I tend to gravitate towards creating content based on content that I would prefer to watch. I like the insight, I like the conversation, I like the discussion, and I like the discovery of learning how to improve and better myself and overall on the platform and with the videos that I create. Hopefully to be seen. For instance, this channel is purely designed to help and encourage and share what I know with others out there interested in doing this, if not already doing it. Not necessarily to hit the mark or target keywords or hijack viewers or trick the algorithm or any of that. It's literally a resource for those who have questions, for answers that I want to provide that I feel that aren't necessarily being discussed and talked about, at least not in a meaningful and impactful way. So titles and thumbnails. I'm gonna try to get some light in here because it's getting dark. Titles and thumbnails. Titles and thumbnails. Now, YouTube will offer soon, theoretically, to all creators the ability to fluctuate and alternate title or thumbnails with the test and compare. So does that lead to a reasonable assumption that thumbnails are more important than titles, and in theory more people are going to be inclined to click because of what they visually see more so than what they actually read? Does this have an impact on your content? Do you decide and choose your title before you create? Or are you more of an in-the-moment, spur-of-the-moment content creator, creative, and then after the camera is already done filming, you have to decide, how do I want to present this? How do I want to package this? Do I want to be upfront and honest and clear and concise? Or do I want to be vague and elusive and intriguing, but familiar and, dare I say, clickbaity? This might possibly be one of the hardest challenges, because not only does this determine quite possibly the immediate, perhaps maybe long-term success of your content, your video, as it is a case-by-case basis, but it will also determine the types of people who choose to watch the video and how they receive the video, as we have all seen comments coming in from the title and thumbnail, and folks obviously have not watched the video or even taken a second to consider what the video was actually about. It's a never-ending battle. It's a never-ending struggle. It's a constant question that can't be answered. You'll never really know what could have been the other way. You really don't. The algorithm is so vast and unique, where I've even had thoughts and ideas of creating the same video every single day and titling it the same every single day, just to see how the algorithm would treat it differently every single day. I just don't want to do it in fear of, the backlash that I would receive from whoever saw these videos and said eventually, hey, you're making the same video every single day. Well, I know that, but I'm running a test. Okay? And I actually look at pretty much every video, every upload as a test, because you just never know. You're testing the algorithm, you're testing the audience, you're testing yourself. We have to, unfortunately, understand and realize the truth. And the truth is that it doesn't really matter. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter for the most part. Your video is going to perform the way it's going to perform. It's going to reach who it's going to reach when it's going to reach them. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be a year from now. And if you force it, then it could potentially backfire. If you force it, it could potentially bring in the wrong crowd. It could potentially grow your channel in a path, in a direction that you don't want it to go, which would ultimately ruin the entire experience of the greatest part of this, and that is doing what you love and loving what you do. So, I guess a little bit of a tip, advice, words of encouragement for those out there is don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Really, don't. Don't overthink it. And I would say, most importantly, be careful with the AI tools that are being presented that are ultimately trying to control the creative process of titles and thumbnails, which theoretically may align with the masses, but if then you use the AI tool, will everyone's not ultimately end up being the same, and there will cease to be individuality and uniqueness in your content and your creation? I would be very careful with these tools, because they can also numb your ability to be creative in titles and thumbnails and in the creative process if you begin to lean on AI too much, which will ultimately detract from the message and the story that you're trying to tell and deliver, which, remember, the camera in YouTube reduces and deducts 10% of who you are in your story that you're telling. It deducts 10%. It also adds 10 pounds. So you've got this to work on, folks, okay? Thanks for watching. Good luck.